Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wish you all a very good evening and welcome to the second in our series of BBX events designed to help you understand how to grow your business in very difficult times. This evening we have three really great speakers who are going to impart some great knowledge and information for you tonight to help your business. Helping your business is an interesting thing because all of us at one point or another in our business go through three modes of business. There will be some people here that are in a survival mode. In other words, you're just hanging in there with your business. Information you will hear tonight is going to be fantastic and may take you out of that survival mode. The second part of that is the sustainability mode. Some of you are at a level where your business is hanging in there and doing okay but could be better. Again, the information you'll get tonight will take you potentially out of that mode. And finally, those people that are in a growth mode with their business, and I say, lucky you, well done, but you still can't get enough business. And again, whatever you're going to hear tonight, I'm sure will help your business grow. First of all, I'd like to commend you all for taking the time out to come here tonight because it means you want to get something out of an evening. And I've got no doubts that tonight you'll get some great information that you can do something with. Our three speakers are all BBX members and they all want to help you grow your business. And I'm very, very excited to welcome our three guests here this evening. Sorry about that. So our three guests this evening, as I say, will share with you some very powerful knowledge, and I have no doubt you'll get something out of it. Take notes on your phones or wherever you can, but whatever you're going to get out of this tonight will be invaluable. The one big thing of all is we all know how small business people are stressed for time. I've got to tell you that you're going to have to find the time to grow your businesses. It's a case of not working in your business, but on it. And tonight the information you'll get will mean that you've actually got to work on your business. So without further ado, I'd like to invite the first of our speakers here this evening. She's worked in the design and media industry for the past 10 years. She's combined her creative flair with a sharp marketing savvy and has the passion to reveal your message in an authentic way. Would you please make welcome Samantha Black.
Hi everyone, my name's Samantha and thank you for coming out tonight and listening. I just wanted to first start off by explaining to you how social helpers came about briefly because that will actually help you to understand a strategy that might help you in your business as well. So first of all, I was running my design business and I was realising that I was spending a lot of time chasing work and I wasn't really leveraging my time. And so I decided to start getting people added into my LinkedIn network. So I got some help to do that and over a couple of months I added probably 1,000 or 2,000 people to that in that time. As I was doing that, I started getting inquiries coming through and then what I decided to do from there was send a message out through my LinkedIn network to invite people to a presentation with a special offer. And from there I got 8 people come to my presentation, which was a similar type of meeting to this. And from there I got 4 clients, and what's even more amazing is someone else in the room got business that was over $10,000 a month repeating. So just that one simple little idea actually created a whole business, and that's one of the key things. If you take away nothing else from what I say tonight, think about the power of ideas, because if you can create a catalyst of ideas and be able to nurture them within your business and apply them with actions and get some people to help you leverage your time, there is so much power in ideas. And a lot of really creative people throughout history, but also people that are really successful in creative fields now, are actually getting ideas. They're actually getting ideas from heaven. And so you can actually tap into an atmosphere and get ideas and get downloads that have clever business strategies for you. You don't have to do it on your own. And so I encourage you to really think about making time for that creative space. So a simple strategy is that people love stories. So what stories do you have in your business that you can be sharing with people to connect with them? Because it really is, the only game in town is telling stories. And so whether that be testimonials, so someone has a good experience with you and you record it on a video to post on your social media platforms, whether that be that you create stories about your business to educate people as to how you can help solve their problem. every opportunity you have to capture things on video is very, very powerful for you, because that can then go onto YouTube, it can go into your other social media channels, and it's combining visual and it's combining audio, so you're reaching them on 2 different levels. So everything is about communicating in a way that reaches them. You want people to engage with you. It's about relationship. It's not the first thing I see people want to do is say, I just want leads. How do I get leads online? And my first response is that you need to build relationship with people. It's the same as normal networking, but it's online. So people hang out in social media because they actually want connection. People are really, really lonely, and they're on there to engage with other people. And so if you go into their space and say, hey, look at me, I just want to sell you this stuff, they're going to completely shut off because it's not traditional marketing. So if you can, the actual rule of selling is 20% selling and 80% content. So if you can start creating content that is nurturing them and giving to them, find out what they're interested in, so it doesn't even have to be directly related to your business. Find out things that they're interested in. So if they're interested in travel, find a way to tie that in with your business so you can cross-promote and get referrals within networks together, and find what their passion and interest is. I've got an interesting fact here that on the power of databases as well. So if you would have 20,000 email addresses, that's actually worth $1 each address in passive income. And that's a study that's been done that actually over an average proves that. So that's an important thing, is to value, like first of all, value each person that is your customer like they are one of your friends. But then if you understand also the monetary value, each of those email addresses of those people has a value as well. So I've got some testimonials that have really helped me along in my business, and that's been people that have become clients that have really enjoyed and benefited from my services, who have then become raving fans. And what you actually want is people to be doing word of mouth for you in a way that is easy for other people to want to use your service. So if you can make it simple for people to understand how to refer you, like actually, you know, if someone says, well, how can we help you? Make it really easy for them to share information in your business in a way that's win-win, because people are constantly looking for rewards, especially on social media. So you can do things like run competitions and find ways to engage them that actually help them to get a reward, so that you motivate them in that action. So it's really important to test and measure results as well. So if you were to come up with great ideas, create a plan, and then start trying the plan and then tweak it as you go. Because if you just try and stick to a plan that you think is going to work and it's not working, then there's reasons for that, and you have to actually test and measure all the results and then go back and change the things that aren't working as you thought they might. So if you're able to, either with someone like myself or in space that you create, write a list of every single task that you would want to do things like create content, how you're going to share content, what channels you're going to put it on, what accounts you need to set up. All these task lists make it easier for you to be closer to achieving your goals. The biggest thing is consistency. So if you don't consistently put posts on social media, it's like putting a sign up in one place and expecting everyone around all the other areas of town to know where that sign is and see that information. If you create a sign, put it up in as many places as you can online and in your community, so that people are seeing the message enough to start knowing to take action. So one of the biggest things, if there's so many strategies and there's so much information online, people actually, because there's so much information on Google, people have a mindset that they can just get information for free. But the reality is there's people that have trained and had experience in specialist areas, and you guys might be some of them that are actually working in an area where you've got specialist knowledge, where people come to you for that knowledge, and that's very valuable on its own. And so it's really important that with whatever you're doing, that you're really speaking from your heart, because people can tell, like, if you're not really passionate about helping them in what they need to get from your product or solution, they're actually not going to be interested in what you're doing. There's so many other people they could go to. So having a really heartfelt message and really being sure that you're there to do it because you want to make a difference in their lives, and actually being a message to them. So whatever you're selling is just an end result. You're actually selling something, like you are part of the product to them. And take time to connect with people, and also make them, like for example in your social media, you can actually promote your clients in a way that builds them up. If you're B2B, you can promote them on your social media so that they feel rewarded and they feel part of your vision. If you're not in a B2B, you can find other ways to include them, like running competitions where you're asking them to take an action, and then they become part of your community in that way. Because the biggest thing, people want to belong to things. They want to be part of communities. And so it's the same thing happens in your business. If you create a fun environment where they want to be part of it because they feel like they're part of your family and your community, they're more likely to get that sense of reward from it, and to want to stick around and not go to your competition. And so creating offers is also so that people know to take an action. Being able to create clever offers is a real skill as well. So what you want to do is direct action to your social media accounts. So create a link that you say, hey, go here, do this action, and you go in the draw for this. So for example, I've used myself as an illustration tonight. These are real offers and you can take them up if you want to, but it's more as an illustration so that you guys understand what you could do. So the first one was go to the Social Helpers Facebook page, write what you like best out of the tips I provided, and go in the draw to win a $497 consult. So that means you'd actually be getting like a one-on-one strategy session with these kind of tips, but tailored for your specific needs, because these are like general ideas, not actually individual business thought through concepts for individuals. And then the other package I made, which is, you guys have probably, if you've been around the small business world for a while, you've probably seen people put together marketing packages of these are all the things you get included. And the reason why they do that is because it actually helps to create action. It helps to motivate you as the buyer, and as the seller, it helps to actually create the action to get a commitment. And so if you want to encourage people, whether it be on social media or in live events or in your business when they're making a decision, to actually take that next step, and which is a step towards their success, you both need actual motivations to do that. That's the way people's brains are wired. So as an example, I've got a package offer with 6 coaching sessions, a social media marketing plan, 4 ads graphic designed, and 4 articles written. Total value $6,523 BBX. And today's offer is $4,997. So the idea is that you're taking a considerable amount off the regular price, so that there's an incentive for people to take action and they get a lot of value by doing that, and then it's win-win for you and the customer. So that's the idea, is to make sure that they're getting rewards. And another thing to consider as well is how you can cross-promote with referral packages with other members. So you could actually find other BBX members that have the same type of customers you have that aren't competing with you, and value add, so that you're actually helping promote each other and building up your businesses together. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask me? Anyone got anything coming to mind? Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you're able to take something away from that tonight.
Okay, a huge thank you to Samantha for imparting some great knowledge there for you. I know there's sometimes a lot to take in, and the social media platform, of course, as you all know, is an absolute minefield. So listening to professional people that can help you get to where you want to be with your business is a really good thing. Our lucky door prize tonight is your pick of time with any one of our 3 guest speakers tonight. So it's a pretty good lucky door prize tonight, which is great. And we'll do a business card draw at the next break, and we'll do the draw at the end of the evening. We now move on to our second speaker of the evening, and I'm delighted to have a former lecturer from the University of Wollongong, She's a lecturer on e-commerce, and she can help you discover your strengths, find your purpose, empower you to lead, help you to build relationships, grow sales, improve results, and get better satisfaction for your business. Would you please make welcome Cantu Pham?
Thank you. And how are we tonight? Good? I appreciate that Andrew, Harsey and the BBX team putting this event together. Our speaker, I love it when everybody, like there's organisers put everything together and I just need to stand up and talk. So tonight I'm here to service you. I'm here to share with you my knowledge and some of the tips so you can grow your business. And if we got the timer, just give me 5 when actually you want me to close the, yeah? Okay. All right, so tonight I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to grow and market your business, to accelerate your business. I actually been in small business for more than 20 years now, and many of you are business owners, some of you are managers, and of course we actually tend to think outside where we actually work hard, but we also have some of the challenges. That is, for example, we maybe some of us having that, next shiny, things that we want to work with and things like that. So there's a number of things that I would like to share with you. One is know the trend and know the data, know what's actually going out there. So based on the latest report in Australia after December 2017, we got more than 14,000 internet subscribers. And I'm sure you and your neighbours, your client, if you want to look for something this day, where do you go? You go to the yellow page? No, it's not even, it gets smaller. Where do you go? You take your phone out and you search, right? Or you go to your computer. That is exactly that, 26.7 mobile phone subscriber in Australia as December of last year. What is the population of Australia, guys? Only 25 mil, right? We got more mobile subscribers than the population in Australia. Hand up if you got more than one mobile phone. So some of you, yes. That's what happened to the statistic, okay? And if you're looking at the latest data from Roy Morgan, 9.46 million buy something online. And that is actually considering, number. Considering that, of course, there's elderly people, there's children, but Australians, in fact, like to buy things online. And if you don't leverage the internet, you actually miss out a lot. You put a lot of cash on the table. Because if you have a physical business, you in fact close at 5 or at 6 o'clock. If you have a functional website, you can open 24 hours a day. Is that correct? And you might need to invest some money in technology, in the website, in social media, but then you don't have to pay all of that rent, all that wages, all of that. It's actually a lot of cost. Next slide, please. I just want to give you a scenario that if you employ a staff that costs you $50,000 a year, another 50,000 go on to super, the desk that person, use, the computer, the car. So say another 50 grand, that's 100 grand. And if your profit margin is 10%, do you know that how much that person needs to generate for you just to break even in a year? $1 million. That's why no wonder small business is not easy. The government, the policy, always, of course, with the workers out there, with the policy. So in small business, for us to survive and thrive, we need to use technology. We have to leverage. And congratulations for being here tonight. You leverage. You leverage on the network, you leverage on the BBX, and you leverage on the contact that you know. And I agree with Samantha that our network is valuable. And in fact, this is not my line, I like it to be. Somebody once said, your net worth equal your network. Yeah? So Some of you here, we might meet for the first time. Some of you I met before. And it doesn't matter in the future whether you ever buy from me or not, it not really matter. But some of you, or in the past 20 years, it's proven to me, some of people never buy from me or have a need to use my services, but they make recommendation, and that is valuable. So networking and that trust building is important. Okay, who feel overwhelmed with what's going out there with different tools, different social media? Put your hand up if you think there's too many tools, you're confused, it's too much to learn. If you're looking at that, you say, in fact, behind that is the biggest interchange in the world in Houston. And at some stage, I had to cross that because I have an event. I can't wait for my family to take me, so I just borrowed the car key and off I go. And I did not know that the biggest interchange in the world. A lot of us, when we're looking at the social media platform, and we're saying, oh, that's too many things. I don't have time for LinkedIn. I don't have time for Facebook. Should I use Twitter? Should I post another video on YouTube? I'm stressed out. I don't have enough time. Who got that feeling? Yeah. Now, relax. You only need to pick a few of them. You don't need to use all of them. If you are targeting business customers, like a gentleman over there I met earlier, for example, like if you are in SMSF, the self-managed super fund, of course you target small businesses but also general public. But then a lot of people will evaluate you based on your expertise, based on your reputation, whether they can trust you before they expose or share with you, about the money that they want to invest. So LinkedIn is the most important media for you, not Facebook, yeah? And then not necessarily Twitter, people not going to follow you and see where you're up to unless, for example, if you're in the entertainment space, that it could be the social media for you. Facebook is there for you, and Samantha did say something that I like to obviously endorse is this social media is not for you to just sell. It's about building relationship and building trust. And once people feel comfortable and they feel that they can trust you, they can come and share with you their problem. And in fact, we all in problem solving. Whether you in bricklaying business, you in financial services, in marketing and web development and consultation, I'm here to solve a problem for business. I give them ideas, I give them solutions. And if you're fixing somebody's roof, you also make sure that, they well covered and they well insure all of that. Okay, tip number 4 is power of communication. And the image that I show you on the screen, it's actually communicate a number of things, not just one thing. A lot of us relate to communication as speaking words, yeah? And in fact, today I speak in English, but many years ago when I first arrived in Australia, I speak very little. And I still remember I have to learn from this is hair, this is a button, this is, all of that when I came to Australia. And within a few years, I got to university with my hard work and support from my family. And I remember my dad bought me an old car, and in the morning, winter time, trying to start, it doesn't really work. And at one time, I rang the NRMA, and the gentleman saying, "Oh, young lady, you got flat battery." And I say, "Sure, sir, it's not. I saw it was square. It's not flat." Okay, and now look back, I really enjoy, how I learned. Communication in marketing is important. The words you use can help to connect with the person that reading your website, connect you with the people that reading your post on LinkedIn, can build that trust, can create rapport, yeah? So use words very carefully. In the past, only a few of us can do like journalism. You can write in newspaper, you can speak on TV, but nowadays we are all journalists, really. If you post something on Facebook or you post something on LinkedIn, you are a communicator. So choose your words wisely. There's a few things that I can recommend, but for those of you saying that, again, that is too much, software like Grammarly is really useful. Before you go on to the next slide, it's also the visual aspect of communication is important. And some of us, somehow, we value the words, not value the visual, but the visual is another form of communication. So if you do marketing, make sure that you have good photos, and you can use stock photos, and you can, make it trustworthy, make it compelling. So when you look at the picture, you want people to feel, you create that emotion. And again, we are a bunch of people that all emotionally connected to things. And then we use the logic to justify our decision why we want to connect with this person or use this service, but not that service. This service might cost a lot more or might take a lot longer, whatever that might be. It's that emotion. So in marketing, if you can connect with your customer emotionally, you win. You win your competitor by no time. It doesn't matter, years of experience you have, the expertise, that's actually all about connect heart to heart. I just want to show you an example, and I use this because my client probably closest to Blacktown here, she's in Smithfield. We created the packaging, we create the website, but you can see it on there. It's not about just product, it's about people, yeah? People enjoying. So if you want to promote your business, you want to promote the end result, how your customer feels satisfied and happy. It's not just about the product itself. So the marketing, a lot of us think that up here we're doing Facebook posting, we're doing the brochure design, we're doing TV ad, radio. It's the things that you can see up the top. But in fact, the root of that is based on strategy, based on planning. So it has to be logical, it has to be going certain process so people can take certain things in, yeah? And I like to share with you, the next slide is, when we in fact actually buying certain product, we go through the process, and it could be the next slide, but let me talk about the tip number 5, is getting paid. Who like to get paid? Come on, hand up. Yeah, of course. At some stage I learned from project management, if the money is not in the bank, the project hasn't completed. And if you actually not selling things online, again, you miss out a big deal. Nowadays, you can have a secure certificate, accept payment online, whether that's through PayPal, whether that's directly merchant facilities, and just help the customer complete the transaction so they can move on to other things. When I buy something or make certain decision to go with someone, I like to complete the transaction so I can move on. Yeah. Otherwise, you have to come back to it tomorrow. Time is money. So by providing all this facility, you also providing good service to your client. And now it's actually not that hard to do. And I do recommend, if you want to fill up your bank account, accept payment online. Okay, so this is the tip number 6, add value. When you're going through the buying process or your customer going through a buying process, we tend to going through different steps. So at first is you need to acknowledge that I need this or I want this. Without that particular step, don't try to explain to people this is how much it is. Don't try to justify how much you charge because it's irrelevant. And then after they go through the first step, they say, this is what I need, this is what I want. And then you're going through, they start searching for information. This is where you give the information. They then evaluate, oh, I need this, I want this, is the right thing for me. Who else provided? This is when you go in and provide why your company is the best possible service provider. And then invite them to take action. Many of us leave a lot of things on the table because we never ask for the sale. Who is guilty of that? I am sometimes. But sometimes we're too excited, got carry on with whether it's a football or whether golf or whether whatever, and we forgot to ask for the order. But then without that step, you won't make a sale. So, and then after that is the post-purchase behavior. There's a thank you email. And nowadays with technology, you can send an invoice straight away from the website, and then money can go directly into your bank account. So the whole process can be automated. So the key word that I want you to remember today with that particular tip is automation. Computer is good at that. And let's actually leverage and let's utilize the technology. Help us out. We actually only got certain time of the day, and sometimes we well, sometimes we tired. Computer work quite, predictable constantly. It's there. If you make a mistake in programming, of course, it's actually a problem that you need to fix. But once it works like a clock, it works like a clock. Okay, and tip number 7 is leverage. I think in business we need to leverage more and more. And technology is actually not one department in your business anymore. It is the fundamental to support all the department, whether it's admin department, whether that's finance department, whether that's marketing department, whether operational, you all need technology. And there's a lot of the cloud software that you can use, and there's a lot of the system that you can subscribe to. But I do suggest that if there are things that in your toolbox that might need to maybe replace, that you look at that as well. And I think that I like to add one more tip, okay? And that tip is when you add network, you collect business card, you hear the word network, not net sit, not net enjoy, not net eat, not net relax. When you actually have that business card or connect with people on LinkedIn, I don't know how many of you have the database called CRM, Customer Relationship Management Package. If you don't, I do recommend that it is something for 2018 you look into it, because it's the most powerful tool that your business can leverage and grow. Okay, and there's many packages out there. People do often ask me, Cantu, if there's a one tip that you want to give to business, what would that be? I said, go and invest in a CRM. Okay, so I just summarize tonight. I just give you a number of tips to grow and to market your business, to accelerate, and that's including utilizing technology. Pick the tool that applicable to you. Don't stress out because there's many things out there, and communicate authentically and pay attention to words, pay attention to the visual element of it, and when you connect, how you build trust, how you add value, and make sure that you build trust. And people often, like the quickest way to build business is build trust, add value, and let your customer chase you rather than chase them. Yeah? Okay, and I think I'm available for questions, whether now or later. Andrew or Hasi make that decision.
Quickly now, if you would like to.
Okay. Any question that you might like to ask?
Does your business do an overall look at how perhaps somebody's website looks, how it's written? Do you do overviews with
Of
people?
course, we do the review and then we make recommendation. I got to say that majority of business I deal with, they want SEO, but then that's not something that I always recommend. Having more traffic to your website is important, but if your website is not built correctly, fix that first. It's just like you have a messy house and then you want more people coming through. Sometimes actually a lot of business don't see that, but so sometimes when I look at it, I will ask, what is your priority? And also the budget. Sometimes trying to convert because of the seasonal before doing SEO or rebuild the website. But I got to say that if your website is not mobile responsive, that means that on the mobile phone people can't see easily. They have to zoom in. then you miss out a lot of the traffic, you miss out a lot of prospective customers as well. So Google have changed the rule. If your website is not mobile responsive, they actually unlikely to list your website as well. So the answer for that is yes, we can do the review and make recommendation, and then also depends on, I will ask certain things like, there's a process. We will ask who's your target customers and also the transaction value and also what important to you and all of that, yeah.
I notice a lot of people have had a website up for many, many years with very little change to it. And I think this is a problem area for a lot of people. They say, I've got a website, but it's not working for me, and you suddenly realise that so much of it is outdated.
Yeah, and if your website is not working for you, you lose out a lot of the revenue. And I recommend it's like everything else. A lot of people take the marketing out until they desperately need it, but marketing should be consistently invested in your business to give that flow of customer coming in. So don't underestimate the power of marketing, and if you do it right, you do it consistently, you don't have to spend so much in the marketing if you do it correctly as well. And if you do it wrongly, you have to go through the frustration, you go through the loss of sale, you go through a lot of hassle. So I do believe that get it done right the first time with the right people who understand the business, understand the process. And website, I just want to emphasize this because a lot of people don't get it right, is they think it is a technology problem or technology project. It is a combination of technology and marketing and business. You want somebody who can understand where you're going and how you're actually trying to reach the business. And then from there, technology should only a tool. Whether you use, there's actually in website, you've got things like WordPress, you've got Joomla, you've got Shopify, you've got a lot of different tools, just like the tools that you go to Bunnings, and you've got, you use the Cecil for certain things, you use the Drew for certain things. It's the same with the web. Knowing which tool to pick up and use that is the critical. So you got to engage the right consultant that know which tool you should use, not just putting any tool. I build your website, this is the website you should have, because it's a combination of the processes and tools and things like that to service your customer.
It's fair to say, excuse me, a lot of people think that a person that builds a website knows what he's doing. There's a difference between a website builder and a website designer. There's a huge gap between their capabilities, and I've seen so many people have a website built, yet it's non-functional, it's not designed well, it's not thought out. So I think people need to understand when they see website builder, website designer, the differences between the two is very important.
I really appreciate that you bring up that point, because I can tell you that I run this business here, Cleverlink, for the last 20 years. I have never done one website on my own. I have never. My job is to do the business analysis, talk to the business owner, understand it, and then map out what tool I'm going to use. That's my job. And I'm doing the project management, the communication. If I work with you, I will sound like you on your website, because that should be how you communicate to your customer. If I work with Hasi, I understand how Hasi communicates to his customers, and who his customer, I will sound like Hasi. So I'm flexible, and also the designer should be the designer, the SEO should have their own expertise, and the programmer, they all have their own field. And I totally agree with that. And also that if you have a website and it doesn't have keywords on it, nobody will find it. And also if the form is actually not functional, you won't have lead. So there's actually, just like, you can have all the light installed in this function center, but if the switch is not on, lights are not on, yeah? Even though you can see it there. It's similar, I want to use that scenario so you can see the web is also a complex situation. You just need to know where to switch on, where, and what else you need. The process, the tunnel, the map, how your customer travel from the entrance, come in, you hold their hand, walk with them through the journey, build trust, build rapport, give them the information that they will need to know. At some stage, hey, would you like to, proceed to the next stage? And without that, journey, and then you just say, hey, this is what I offer, you break the journey and you won't lead the customer across the line that you really want.
Okay. In regard to email broadcasting, you haven't mentioned any packages, or you haven't actually mentioned that. And which ones do you recommend that avoids the spamming, such that the customers don't receive it as spam?
Okay, again, it's actually a lot of packages available out there. If, for example, like you got the subscriber, the button that people can subscribe to your email, some of you use MailChimp, some of you use Adobe, they also have there. But I think that I need to know the business and also the tools you have to make that recommendation. But I can answer some part of that question. For example, if you build a form on the website, and to avoid the spam that you're having because the robots actually, keep putting information that go to your inbox, then you can have a technology called capture. So you have to put in like certain words or put in that can avoid the spam. I just want to give you a few criteria that choosing a good email package, and then of course, if we got time, we can talk a bit more a bit later, is if you send out email, then you want to have the capacity to track what is the open rate, yeah? And you want to be able to personalize. If I send an email to 1,000 people, but in the system I can say, hi Hasi, hi George, hi Lisa. And then if Hasi opened that email, my system can track that Hasi have expressed some interest in the email I sent. And then this is the thing that I suggest to my client. If you actually got time to bring everyone on your contact list, good luck and great, go for it. But most of us don't have time, especially when we have a long list of clients. But then if you base on that tracking and these 20 or 50 people in your mailing list constantly click on the email, and then when you bring that person, they can talk to you with a lot of interest. So that way you don't waste your time chasing the people who didn't even read the email or it went to spam box, you know what I mean? So that's called leverage, and also it actually saves you a lot of time. And when you evaluate the email package, look for those. And I can recommend a few, but as I mentioned, there's so many tools, it really depends on your purpose. And some people will ask me, I want the best possible email tools out there. I say, great, you got the budget for it, but how big is the email? We have like 4, then build a mailing list first, yeah? So it also depends on the situation on the client. I make certain recommendation. And if someone has certain capacity to work on a technical space, then I want to introduce something easier or lighter. But then somebody really want to focus and want to work on technology a lot sophisticated, I can introduce something more complex. So it also depends on the person I'm talking to. And I think that's important that you give the tool that person really enjoy and use. A tool's everything. And I can tell you that on my phone, there's a number of apps that I've actually used every single day. And there's some beautiful project management tool. I can guarantee it can save you lots and lots of hours and lots of headache. Some of that, and project management tool is something beside the customer relationship management tool that I'd like to recommend.
As far as website builders, I mean, I've got so many friends of mine in business, they get caught up with these website builders from India or overseas or whatever else. They pay X amount of dollars up front and then they never get what they want, it never happens, and there's just so much drama that goes on for 6-12 months, and it just ends up being a farce basically. And if you try and use website builders in Australia, it seems to cost millions of dollars or a lot of money.
Okay.
How do you get around that?
Right. It's quite common these days. And I got to say, sometimes it's not because the programmers or the professional in India or Philippines or other countries not sufficient enough. In fact, many of them are good. The thing is, it's just like me. If I'm trying to put this building together without having the skill, or I give instruction to a group of builders to build me something that I don't know, the chances are it's going to collapse. Yeah. So it's okay for you to leverage the cheaper labor overseas if you know what you're asking and you also have the knowledge that you know what fit with what, you know the functionalities and the architecture. What I call is that web architecture. It's actually very important that if I build a big website for my client, that I use certain technology or architecture that allow it to grow. But then if my client only needs 5 pages of marketing website, then I'm not going to introduce that big tool, just introduce something simple. So back to your friends and relatives, it's coming back to us, like none of us is an island, we don't know everything. I don't know everything, you don't know everything, we are novice in some area. So when it comes to technology, you either pay for the service or you pay to have the problem fixed later on. And afterward, you can end up with frustration, you don't trust the web anymore, you don't trust technology, but it's actually not the problem there. You just need to go to the right people and ask for the right advice. And if you don't know, the web technology is quite complex. And as I mentioned, being a lecturer at university, and I've also mentored so many students, ever since. This is what I see as well. In the Australian education system, probably maybe similar in the lucky countries, our students only learn certain technology. A lot of them are sponsored by big corporations like whether Apple, Oracle, Sybase. So they graduate, they're ready to build something big for big banks like Westpac, Commonwealth Bank. And now that people like myself, I service small businesses. A lot of you, and including me, we don't have budgets like hundreds of thousands for a website. We have very limited budget. So therefore, a lot of us need to use open source. Yeah, and it's all about knowing what you need and then knowing that how it all integrated. Integrated is a very important tool. That if you want to be tech savvy, that you want to take that word on, is the things need to link together. So as I mentioned to you, it's actually not about, it's about miscommunication, it's about managing a project, and if you don't really need, what you want or what you really ask for, the other end, especially in another country, they can't provide you with what you want. Or sometimes a lot of clients, when I work with, they don't even know what they want. They trust me to make recommendation, and a lot of them go with what I recommend. I said, this is best for you for now. In 2 years' time, come back to this. Or for you can't go for option 1, option 2. You have to go all in one now. You have to have payment gateway. You have to have database. So it comes back to that knowledge, and also not only knowing about the web, but then where that business is going. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, Jen, for last question, and then I will hand over to our MC. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Cantu Pham, what a gold mine of information she was. Can I assume that everybody here has a website? Does anybody not have a website that they're running their business through? Lance, you should be ashamed.
Oh, there's a story there, I'll tell you.
Look, we do have a lot of website builders and designers on BBX, and some of them are extremely good, and it's not as expensive as you think it is. Probably for less than 5,000 BBX you can get a really good website built and designed. So talk to your trade coordinator about that, and talk to some of these guys about having your websites reviewed. Our last speaker tonight is a fairly eminent person within the social media sphere. He's an author, a speaker, an educator, a connector and a social influencer. He's been a social media practitioner since 2008. It is my pleasure to welcome our last speaker of the evening, Mr. Lance Scoular.
Hi, hello everyone. How are we? Good. Please thank those ladies, the professionals, right? Give them a round of applause. I'm the non-professional, right? Have you heard of bush carpenters or bush lawyers? No one's heard of that?
No,
What is it?
it's not a professional person.
Exactly. So a bush lawyer is someone that hasn't gone to law school but gives legal advice, right? A bush carpenter is someone that hasn't done a carpentry course. So as a small business person, I started my business in 1975 and as a customs broker and a freight forwarder. I did that for 40 years. And what I'm trying to do tonight, let's go back. We're all here as business owners or involved in at a managerial level in a business. So whose market is in their local area only? Anyone in that? Okay, great. Anyone else? Whose market is in Sydney area only? No one, I guess. Okay. Who has statewide market, national market, international market? Okay, few. So my career was as a customs broker, freight forwarder, and that's international trade, import, export. I had my own business for many years. Then in '97, I started training around the country with the Australian Federation of International Forwarders. And at the same time, that was through the week. On the weekends, I would start a course on importing and exporting, a 2-day course at community colleges around Sydney and a few universities. In 2006, I was approached by a mate from school actually, and I was engaged as a trade start export advisor, paid by the New South Wales Business Chamber, but I was contracted to Austrade. Who's heard of Austrade? The Australian Trade Investment Commission, okay? So I was based out at Penrith. Now, come along 2008, I started getting, from my import-export courses, people sending me invitations to Facebook and LinkedIn. And I looked at it and thought, what is that? I don't want to know about it. Who's had that experience themselves? Yeah. So, what happened, I then looked it up. I Googled how to use LinkedIn for business, how to use Facebook for business, and I found answers to that. I thought, wow, maybe I should join up. I won't go into the lot now, but by early 2009, I was on Twitter and I bought a little course on it, a few videos and a few downloads, and I started practicing what can Twitter do. About 12th of January, I had a guy from Romania on Twitter. Who's on Twitter, by the way? Put up your hand who's on Twitter. Hardly anybody, okay? So you won't know what I'm talking about, probably. But anyway, on his bio, he was like me, just gone onto Twitter. Anyway, his latest Twitter message was, I'm looking for a copywriter for a job. So I went back on a direct message, it's like an internal email between the two of us, and I said, what's the job? He said, it's a bio for a blog. Everyone know what a blog is? I assume you do. Okay. So I said, look, I do my own copyright, but I'm not a copywriter. So I just put it out on Twitter. A colleague on Twitter needs copywriter for a job. Now, let's call her Irene from Israel, sends me a message, says, yeah, I'm a copy, what is it? So I connect the two. She's in Israel, he's in Romania, I'm in Sydney. And a few days later, probably 6 days later, he comes back and he says, job's done, thanks very much. Remember, it's Twitter. At that stage, it was 140 characters or less. Now it's 280, which is quite handy. So I went to Irene on Twitter and said, Torful tells me job's done, everything okay? Question mark. She said, extremely long answer, yup, YUP, thanks. Now, I don't know if you understand what happened there. I had just broken the deal. I had put two people together to do business like BBX does. That makes sense? I didn't get paid for it. But as an international trader, people, I was dealing with companies around the world. I thought, man, this is better than email. Back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, when I was first working. I had just brokered a deal. I thought, man, this has power. So I really thought, if I can build my connections, so I had a little system. People that follow me on Twitter, I'd say join me on Facebook and LinkedIn, because I had the three at that stage in 2009. And so I built up over those years a huge network globally on LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. Most of my LinkedIn connections have come from Twitter. You see, I'm using one to bring me the other. I'm building a network using Twitter, which you can connect with most people quite easily, and get them to send me a LinkedIn invitation, like Cantu did to me today. She probably saw me looking at her LinkedIn.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yes.
And she sent me a LinkedIn invitation just before I left to come here, actually. But that's what happens. You see, I call it social media cross-pollination. You know what bees do? They go from flower to flower to flower and they do cross-pollination. That's where you get hybrids of things. So I built up my LinkedIn, and I was using Facebook, but I haven't used Facebook for about 6 years. I'm not saying some of you shouldn't be using it. In fact, Brendan, who's our photographer, he's using Facebook for his business. I hope it's okay to say that. Because that's where he can find his target market for his photography. Okay? As was said before by the ladies, you choose what you want to do to reach your target market. You have to know, as they said, who is your market? Where are they? Are they going to be watching TV? Most probably not. You can't afford TV anyway, can you? But you can afford social media because it's free. Or you can pay Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn if you wish to do that. I've got Scott's blood running through me. I don't want to pay anybody anything. But that's me. That's me. I'm a bit crazy. So, here's some tips. Make sure who's not on LinkedIn. Anybody not on LinkedIn? Please join LinkedIn. Because if you're in business, you want to be doing business with other people, don't you? Or if you don't want to do business with business people, you've got consumers, so B to C, B to consumer or customer. Even customers may say, like if you're a real estate agent, if I was going to deal with a real estate agent and he calls and knocks on the door and I think, yeah, I'll give this guy a go, as soon as he's out of the way, I get on my phone, I look up LinkedIn and search his name. Why would I do that? Because I want to check him out, don't I? That's the way you check people out. If people call me and say, let's have a meeting, first thing I do is I check them on LinkedIn. Who are they? Who are their connections? Do I have someone in common? Do you see the power of this? So one thing is looking, so make sure your profile is there. The thing that LinkedIn brought in a number of years ago, the endorsements, is crazy. Because people just go tick, 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 Lance can do this, this and that. I've got 15,000 odd LinkedIn connections, right? Many people endorse me for skills in international trade, social media, everything else. Most of them wouldn't know if I was good at that or not. So an endorsement is a load of crap, quite honestly. But a recommendation, which is the original thing, and it's still there, is where I would go. If I wanted to check out somebody, let's say the real estate guy that's called in, I'd look at anybody that's recommended him and then check them out. Who are they that they recommended him and what did they say? Because if they're recommending him, their words should tell a picture, shouldn't they? They should be saying what this guy actually says. So if he says he can do these things, the recommendations should validate that. So if you haven't got some recommendations on your LinkedIn, go to someone that you've done business with, that is a connection, and say, don't necessarily ask them, ask if I could recommend you. That's what I did to people. Can I give you a recommendation on LinkedIn? Oh yeah, that'd be great. Oh, would it be okay if I recommended you back? Reciprocity. Okay? So that's what, you don't have to ask, you can offer, and people will generally respond that way. Now, for Twitter, I know most of you aren't on it, but I would suggest it's a good way to get out to the marketplace, find people in that you're looking for, and you can search for people by industry or country or whatever it is. It's easy to use compared to LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and other things. And you can use graphics, photos, videos. You can do live videos as well. Now, the ladies were talking about content before. You should, as they were suggesting, be putting content out. Now, who likes writing stuff and putting it out there? Anybody? Okay. Who would be comfortable in doing a video? A few people. Who would be comfortable running a radio show where you're not actually seen? Right? So there's three ways we can get to people: audio, video, or the written word. They're the only options we've got pretty much. Photos can come into that as well, but for creating content that's consumable, it's going to be video, writing, or audio. I've just started a podcast. A podcast, for those that don't know, is basically an audio radio show on the internet. And I came across, whoops, if my pen going down, I won't show you. But it's called Anchor, A-N-C-H-O-R. Anybody heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? Okay, he's been talking about it for a few years. It's an audio only thing. It was a messaging service. Now it's decided to pivot to be purely a podcast platform on your phone. You can create it on the phone, you can add Spotify music to it, you can edit it on your phone, and then you can post it and it will go off to iTunes, Stitcher. I think I'm on 9 or 10 at the moment of other platforms. It distributes it. So it's simple to use. You don't have to have fancy gear with microphones and editing stuff, all on your phone. So that's an option. As the lady said, you should be putting content out. That is the way that people are going to find you, by talking about the things that you have expertise in. It's really important to get out there and give that expertise. To give you an example, I got an invitation in March from a lady in Israel, not the one I talked about before. Hey Yoga is her name. She has a podcast called Reach or Miss. The tagline is the customer-focused entrepreneur. Who considers themselves an entrepreneur here today? Few of us. Other people think, oh, we're just business people. That's what I used to call myself when I went into business. I'm a business person. Anyway, she sent me a LinkedIn request, and then she said, I've sent you this because I looked at your profile on LinkedIn, you followed me on Twitter, I sent you LinkedIn, I've checked you out, I would like to interview on my podcast. Would you be into it? Now there's people on that podcast, John Lee Dumas, you've heard of John Lee Dumas? Jeff Bullis, an Australian content producer, blogger. Guy Kawasaki, sort of an internet guru, advocate for Canva, the Australian Sydney-based photo program. Anyway, she interviewed me, and I was talking. She talks about customers, and I said, look, I had a business in customs and freight forwarding. My customers were clients. Who has clients rather than customers? Anyone? If you're a service provider, you have clients because you're not selling a product and that's it. Client comes back to you regularly. So an accountant has clients, a lawyer has clients, a trainer has clients, right? And I said, I came across this concept that a client in old Roman culture was the client of a patron. The patron was a rich person, the client was subservient, but was up to the patron to care, protect and guide the client. When I saw that a number of years ago, I thought, gee, that's really... So my clients, I'm not just there to take their money in exchange for what I do for them. I'm there to care for them, protect them from danger and guide them so they can be successful in what they do. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if you're a client, you would like that to be coming from who you buy services from, isn't it? Anyway, I talked that to her. She made that as a headline in her blog. And she's published that a number of times because it really resonated with her. So it also got me thinking again about the people I hadn't been servicing in import-export. It's really gave me an impetus to get my course going now. So, coming back to you, because at the end of the day, you have to do something. You've got to set up some social... Actually, what is this? Someone like to tell me? A weapon, yes, that's a good one. Mobile phone. It is, but it's a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? I can't even say it proper. Okay, Swiss Army knife type of thing. Because how much percentage of the time you use this as a phone compared to all the other things you do with it? Right? Now, this Gary Vaynerchuk, I read his first book, Crush It, back in 2009. He basically said, you need to be a media organisation. And that's what we can be. We can be a media, we have our own TV, we have our own publishing newspaper, and we have our own radio stations, all on here. And most of it for free. You don't have to go to Bunnings and buy a stack of tools to do social media. It's here. It's on you, can be on your phone or your desktop at home. So you're mad if you don't use it. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk said, oh, okay, here's the thing. The internet. He said on the Larry King show, to Larry King, said, what is the internet? He said, it's a slang term for the current state of the internet. Right? The internet used to be, before social media, websites and blogs and things like that. But now, social media has basically dominated the internet. Now, Rick asked the question, I don't have a website. I had 4 websites a few years ago. Back in 2003 I built them myself using Site Builder. It was a good program. A few years ago, because my courses have gone downhill, because people are going from face-to-face learning online. So my courses died and my income dropped. And I didn't pay my monthly fees for my websites, and they disappeared. Now, lancescoular.com, which I had, I searched it on GoDaddy the other day just because I was coming here. The price of it is $3,452 or something like that. I'm not going to buy it back. My name, thank you very much. So what have I been doing? I've been concentrating on using social media like Yogev did. She found me not through my website but through social media. So I'm not discounting, you should have a website. You can actually have free websites with some of the webs that are available out there. But it's possible to use social media for yourself. Any questions so far? Someone? So what are you going to do tonight or tomorrow, probably when you get up in the morning, what are you going to do for yourself to help promote your business and market your business to the people that want and need your services but can't find you at the moment? That's what the ladies have been saying, and I'm backing them up. It's in your hands. It's not expensive at the minimum level. All it takes is some planning, some strategy, and some guts to do it. I think I'll leave it there. Any other questions? Okay, over to you.
Thank you, Lance. Well, you've heard from 3 very informative speakers tonight, and I guess at the end of the day, it's what you do with some of the information that you've heard tonight that will make a difference to your business. But for those people that really haven't ventured into the social media side of things, apart from a website, a must-have is a Facebook page. Not your personal Facebook page, but a business Facebook page. It's the easiest one to set up and get rolling, and I would suggest it enormously, and I'll tell you why. Halfway through July, I started another little business, and I set up a page dedicated purely to that business. Since then, I've had over $20,000 worth of business, which I haven't had to pay a cent for in advertising. So I would firmly suggest that you unquestionably look at setting yourself up with a business Facebook page. I want you all to put your hands together for our 3 speakers who did a fantastic job this evening. Cantu Pham, Samantha Black and Lance Scoular finishing us off tonight. We do have a business draw to undertake with us tonight, and we do have a great prize. As I said, it will be a selection of one of our speakers to spend some considerable and quality time with those people. So without further ado, we get...
Everyone's got their card in here. Lance, do you want to put your card in here, mate, or you're right?
I consult with myself.
Okay, so without having a real look at anything, let's have a little look and pull out a card and see who we have. And it is Goodfellows, Robert Folwell. I always thought it was Goodfellow. Robert Folwell. So Robert, you've picked yourself up a session with any one of our speakers. You can pick which one you want. They will come out and see you, or vice versa, and you'll get some great information to help you grow your business, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So good on you, Robert. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is still some food available if you're still feeling hungry, some drinks. And by the way, the wines on the tables are also available on BBX if you want to order some wines tonight. Just see Andrew or Harsey, and they will take some orders from you. I do hope sincerely that some of you got some great information out of this session. It's like everything. There's a lot of things you hear time and time again, there's a lot of things you don't quite understand, just ask. There's a goldmine of information here tonight. If you want to speak to any one of our speakers here this evening, I advise you to do so. And just a quick reminder, of course, next Monday night at the Killara Inn, we do have an investment seminar with the BBX investment side of things, and we will be auctioning off a block of land on full trade on the night. So worth coming along to. That's on next Monday night at the Killara Inn. Until then, have a great evening, have a safe journey home, relax, have a chat, mix with each other, network. As you said, it's not about net eating, it's not about drinking, it's about networking. Good on you, Cam. Well done. Thank you, everybody.